Yo, 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 this is Dwad, founder of What You Expect. I'm here again for episode 2 of Oh Hell No with Hannah Ford or Hannah Javelle and what's your name, Kev? Keith? Is it Keith? Are we going by Keith or Kev?
Name's not Keith. Let's go with that.
Name's not Keith.
Yeah, let's
I'm
just
trying to get
stick to
my
the
intro.
Twitter handle.
I'm trying to get to my my intro bag. Have a little more energy on these. I hope you guys tuned into what is it? Part 1. I don't know if we're calling it season 1, part 1. Hope y'all tuned in. Make sure you subscribe. We're back again for season 2. This is going to be a lot more fun, a lot more talking points. So I'll just kick it to Kev, or name's not Keith, whatever he wants to call himself today.
Hey man, call me whatever you want. I'll probably answer to it. So you want to call me Kevin? That's cool. You want to call me Keith? That's cool too, man. All right. So a lot happened this season. Like a lot happened this season. I will say this. This might be the only season in Girlfriend's history where they do like a nice little recap of what happened in the prior season. So we kick it off with a recap. Let us know that Joan and Tony have some beef going on, right? So Joan kind of ruined Tony's relationship. Tony tried to get back at her by trying to sleep with her man. Didn't really end well. The girls went off to Jamaica.
World we live in.
Girls went off to Jamaica. Tony bitch slapped Joan. She found out. Horrible thing, right? So we enter in season 2. So basically, like in season 2, Joan and Tony, there's some awkwardness going on, but they kind of want to say it's watering the bridge. Just get over it. We've been best friends since like elementary school. We're good. However, Maya doesn't like that. So Maya keeps trying to just build on that friction between those two. So every time those two or every time the girlfriends go out for lunch, Maya always brings it up. Like, oh, well, remember that one time Tony started sleeping with your man? And so that starts to fire there. And so, Joan and Tony, they tried to whatever. It's whatever. We're best friends. And the final straw was basically when Tony was trying to sell Joan's boss a house. And while she was trying to sell him the house, when they were out for lunch, she told Joan's boss that Joan was dating a sex addict. And Joan's boss brought that up at work.
Yes.
And so Joan put 2 to 2 together and pretty much just ended the relationship with Tony after that, right? We can get into like who was right, who was wrong a little bit later.
And I want to know if you guys have ever had to deal with ending a relationship with a friend, but continue.
All right. So then, Tony pretty much hits rock bottom. She loses her job. Her car gets repossessed. And then her boyfriend that she cheated on, she runs into him in the store. And she thinks, okay,
his name, Kev, his name is Greg.
I'm sorry. Say his name, Greg. So she runs into Greg. And then, she basically wants to rekindle that flame with Greg. Greg's like, sure. Greg is playing the long game. And Greg pretty much tells her to go out and buy a pumpkin because, Joan is having her Halloween party. Halloween is a very big thing. Halloween is a very big thing in this show. We can get into that. But basically, Tony is out. She's shopping for a pumpkin. She comes back home. And there goes Greg with another woman on the floor caught in the act. And that was all intentional. And basically, Greg just let her know, I was
I need class for this, please.
We can get into it right or wrong either. So, basically, Greg pretty much like, hey, I played you. Congratulations, you played yourself. Tony hits rock bottom. Heads over to Jones to cry it out. Jones like, you know what?
Get off my fucking porch.
Get off my porch. Talk to my therapist. I don't need you anymore. So there's a couple of other storylines that go along this way, right? So, for example, Big Willie, the MVP of the season, MVP of the entire show, actually. So basically, he decides that he's on the fence with his girlfriend, Yvonne, basically. So Yvonne's a cop. Season 1, he kind of forced her to quit her job as a cop after she was shot or grazed by a bullet. He's on the fence about it. So Yvonne keeps kind of pushing things with Big Willie. Big Willie's like, oh, I'm not really sure. I kind of like the way things are. So Yvonne goes to Joan. Joan, the relationship wrecker, tells Yvonne that Big Willie wants her to move in with him, basically. And so Yvonne goes over there. She moves in. That pretty much forces them to push for the wedding date. And then Yvonne realizes that Big Willie didn't tell Big Mama that Yvonne even existed.
That was crazy.
That was nuts. So then, like, that pretty much was like, the fire or the smoke right there in the relationship. When it comes to the wedding, Yvonne's like, you know what? This is for life. This is legal. I'm not doing it. I'm out. And she leaves Big Willie at the altar. My man had to rebound. He goes into a deep depression. Joan takes him in. He's there for a couple of days. Then he decides he's going to head back out. He's going to recover. He's going to be a mess. But Big Willie rebounds. Big Willie takes him in.
He always rebounds.
Always rebounds.
I cannot with y'all. This Big Willie is
Big Willie.
Big Willie takes in Lynn to be his roommate because he's stuck in that big house that he bought for Yvonne without telling her. And so he lets Lynn move in.
Nuts. Let's add that. It was nuts.
That was nuts. And so he lets Lynn move in. And here's the thing. So when Lynn came back from Jamaica, she smuggled in Vasco, her man. She promised him the world in America. She had nothing to give him. So this guy left his job, his friends, his family to pursue this American girl, to live in a garage. And things didn't work out. So then Lynn runs into her ex Vasco. Big Willie gets pulled over by the girl from Reno 911. And basically what that was is basically those two had at the exact same time, they had a conversation with their ex. And so they felt lonely. And so they decided that Big Willie and Lynn are going to become friends with benefits, basically. And they just sealed the deal and started having sex pretty much from the get-go to recover from their prior relationships. All right. And then for my favorite storyline with Maya, so then Maya and Darnell going through a rough patch, basically, right? So like they're not really communicating well, they're not really being like that intimate with each other. They're not on the same page. So Maya has a friend at work. I call him the work husband. I think every girl or guy has a work husband or wife, but we can get into that. And so basically like that relationship kind of gets more and more like intimate. Nothing happens up until a point where they have like a date. They start making out, and then like the kiss was horrible. Maya decides to end it. She sends her girl Lynn to just destroy this man's ego in public. Yeah. This guy's like, okay, bet.
It's an evil world we live in.
All right. So then, he starts stalking Maya. He starts becoming good friends with Darnell, starts infiltrating her life, starts ruining her life. She's just fed up with it. Eventually, he goes away. Maya's so happy. Everything's back to normal. And she does the one thing, a staple from the early 2000s, which is she butt dialed her house phone from her cell phone. And she butt dialed her house phone, and she pretty much spilled the beans on her answering machine that she had an affair, if you want to call it an affair, and that she ended it. And then when she got home and she was ready to get it on Darnell heard the answering machine, a blast from the past. An answering machine is before voicemail. And so he hears it, he gets fed up, and he kicks her out. And I hope that's a good recap of what happened in season 2.
Yo, Kev, before we start, let me give you some claps.
Yeah, right.
It was a lot.
That was well done. I thought you hit all the really important parts of season 2. Because season 2 was a lot. It was a lot.
Season 2 was a lot, and you just gave us a good 2-minute, 3-minute breakdown of it. Me and Hannah were talking. We were like, I don't even know what we're about to talk about today because I forgot season 2, and you just got me excited because we have a lot of talking points. Let's get it.
We have so many different avenues to go for. So which one do you want to dive into?
Oh my God! How did the season start again? Because let's just start from the beginning.
All right. So it starts off basically setting up the scene of Tony versus Joan, right?
Okay.
So it does the recap of what happened season 1, and then season 2 kind of begins that the girls are like, they kind of act like guys in a way where there's just like, you know what, this happened. I physically assaulted you. It's over. It's done. Like we're friends. It's in the past now. But they both can't really get over it. And Maya, in my opinion, I don't think she likes Tony that much because they weren't really that close of friends yet until later in the season. So Maya keeps bringing it up over and over again every time the girls go out for lunch. So like John, for example, be like, I'm a new girl, this and that, and then Maya just hit her off the. But Tony did try to sleep with your man. Remember that? And she'll keep like kind of poking the bear basically and trying to like destroy their relationship basically.
Yeah, so I think we can start right there because I remember when I was watching it, my first question was, are you sleeping with your friend's significant other if they ruin your relationship? And I was like, that's crazy as hell. Like, I felt like that was so unrealistic. But the thing is, people are doing that.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say, I personally would never do that. But not too long ago, I had a friend, like, I'm trying to think of a way to say this, like, without being very messy. Essentially, like, I had said something that offended one of my friends, like, flings or whatever. Some of my friend was dealing with. I had said something, and so like because of my comment, essentially, like he just wasn't feeling my friend anymore, and like okay, the comment was kind of like unnecessary, inappropriate, I guess. Okay, whatever. But I was clearly joking. But my friend like made a comment.
Jokes
like,
always have the truth.
Huh?
Jokes always have the truth, but continue.
That's what I'm saying. My friend, okay, yes, but also listen to this. My friend kind of made a comment like, oh, I'm not with my little piece no more, but you land up with your piece. Like my friend kind of made a comment and I was like, okay, like I guess. I didn't really think nothing of it because I'm just like, whatever. But just like you said, I feel like underlying jokes or like little like passive comments, like, things people kind of say like in a slick manner, I feel like they have underlying definitely like little underlying messages. So, I have personally I would never like that would never just be like my go-to. Like, oh, if my friend did this, I'm gonna go like fuck my friend man. But like, I definitely have been in a situation where like I was basically the Joan of the situation, and somebody responded, but it wasn't on that level. Like Joan was like way out of pocket. Okay, someone could say that I was out of pocket too, but I was joking. Like it was a joke.
You're probably out of pocket. Just
I was, you know me personally. Like I was out of pocket. But it wasn't, me just being out of pocket. But it just wasn't received well. But my friend kind of made a comment, like, and I was just like, okay, I guess, like, but yeah, I just think that's wild either way.
So I have a question then for you guys, right? So like the recurring theme in the Tony versus Joan saga was actually the therapist, who was way out of pocket. But anyways, he kept hinting that Joan is holding on to toxic relationships. She's not using her voice. She's not saying no when needed. And it wasn't just Tony. It's just like all of her friendships were pretty much like they take, and they never like give back to Joan. But he was highlighting that Tony is really like a main culprit of this, right? And so he was like telling Joan, you got to cut it off of Tony in order for you to like improve as a person going forward. And Joan was like, absolutely not. So like, my question is, do you think Joan refused to do that because one, she was 30, and we both know it gets harder and harder to make friends as you get older? Do you think like Joan kind of held on to like Tony into her friend group because she was fearful of like just being lonelier in essence?
So this is cool because I was waiting for this topic because I've dealt with this in my personal life. But just even touching on the therapist thing, I feel like a therapist can only see what you tell them. So it's like Joan was only telling her perspective. Like your friends are all taking, but Joan was taking just as much as they were taking. It might not be monetarily, but like Joan was definitely doing a lot with her friends, whether it was like we saw in season 1 with Maya's wedding. Like she was doing a lot of things. She was hating. Like she's done a lot of shit in her relationships. I just want to touch on that. But Joan was for sure holding on to a relationship that was dead because it was, I don't know if it's an age thing or it's just like, it's hard to move on from relationships that have happened for so long. I don't know if you guys have it. And
especially friendships. Like I would like to argue that sometimes like friendships are way more difficult to let go of than like romantic relationships. Just like Dwayne said, if they have a lot of like if there's a lot of time, just because you feel like at least I know me personally, there's a lot of friendships like now more than ever as I mature and I'm actively in therapy. Like I reassess them very often, or I'll like look at them and I'll be like, things have definitely changed here. And it's way easier, I feel like, for me to like, hand folks the scissors in platonic relationships than it is in like romantic ones.
I know for me personally, so I said I had a relationship. Well, I had that kind of situation with a relationship, and it was actually good because this is honestly when I started becoming friends with Kev. So it's like when my other relationship ended, like I completely started becoming friends with like a new group of niggas, and it was like I've known these niggas for this whole time. Like we've always been friends, you know what I'm saying? Like we always had each other's number, but it was never to the capacity. So this thing is like it was funny looking at it from that perspective, because Joan never was able to find a new group of friends. So it's like for example, let's say Joan, like, you know how we you talked about in your recap how Tony had to come back to the porch after her and Greg had the situation. Like I never had to deal with that kind of situation because I was still friends with my friends that were friends with the other friend, but I had a whole new group of friends.
Right.
Joan was like, the thing is, when those breakups happen, you can't both still have the same friends, because then it's like the other friends are playing in between, and it's uncomfortable for them, and it's just like now they're like, I feel like the show didn't highlight how, actually it kind of highlighted.
They kind of did.
So you remember when they were at the restaurant?
Yep.
And it was like Tony, they had to deal with Tony, but they had Joan come through,
right?
After, and then it was like the table was the latest, and it's just like me being older, and I look back at like certain things with my old friendship. I'd be like, damn, so I wonder if they had to deal with this shit, which is why I never hold grudges with my friends that I'm still friends with.
But I'm also the type of person like, so it seems to me like y'all ain't different. It sounds like y'all are saying like y'all ain't different if like y'all shared friends have to like play the middle. But to me, it's like,
oh no.
Oh,
I am indifferent because I've dealt with it and I understand. I should add that before you talk. So I understand my friends. I understand my friends, but I can never fuck with them the same way I fucked with them. You know what I'm saying? Like those are still my homies. Like y'all know who I'm talking about. Like those are still my niggas. They'll watch. They might watch this video, but I'll never be able to fuck with them to the level we were fucking with each other, because I know you're still playing a middle ground.
So that's what I'm saying though. So
Interesting.
So you're not indifferent though, but that's the kind of where I am. I just feel like, but I feel like that goes beyond, like it extends beyond. Actually, as I'm saying this, like stating this out loud, I'm gonna have to retract, because I don't think. So, are you saying that like if someone is friends with someone that you're no longer cool with, like someone that's an op, like that you don't fuck with that? Like, is that what you're saying?
I don't know. You started using kid language. You said op. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm too old for this.
No. This is the situation. I don't know if this is what you're saying. I'm going to try to break it down. So let's say you have your group of 5 friends, right? And then person A and person, I guess E, they don't fuck with each other. So then there's the people in the middle. And then even if person A is in the right and person E is in the wrong, if the people in the middle are still friends with person E, person A should not fuck with the people in the middle. But the thing is, when you've been in a relationship with people for so long, it's hard to cut them off. And that's what I had to deal with. And I'm still cool with them niggas, but once again, I'll never be to the level I was.
Right. So you're cordial when you see them, right?
Yeah, I mean, I hang out with them niggas. Like, I hang out with them niggas, but the thing is, like, I would never be on no like, I think it's different from men, because men can have relationships where it's like.
I feel like men are way easier at having like superficial relationships. Yeah. I mean, I feel like most men, for sure. Not to say that like women don't do it as well, but I see what you're saying. Like I feel like men are way easier. Like, like we can acknowledge, like I see you, you see me. We know, we not
like we can go hoop together. We can go out to a party together. But the thing is, if I know if something hit the fan, like I'm not gonna rely on this nigga.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's different. Yeah. I feel like that. Like there's no beef. Like we're still friends. But it'll never be to that level. Like, so that's kind of how I look at it. And I think Joan and Tony needed that. And the show never gave them that. And which kind of sucks, because I would have loved to see if Joan got new friends. Like she like found a friend at work. Like they brought in a new character to be Joan's new friend.
Well, you're kind of foreshadowing a little bit to the later seasons where like I think the girlfriends are kind of forced into that scenario. But again, that's like way down the line. We're talking like season 7 and 8.
I haven't even got there.
We haven't even got there yet, but you're already foreshadowing. So,
I haven't even got there. I'm only on. So that I'm only about to start season 5. So I'm done with season 4.
Oh, y'all are wow. I'm done.
That's fair. So before we get off the Tony versus Joan topic, so there was this one scenario that I kind of glossed over. I didn't really talk about it during the intro. To me, this was like the heaviest, not heaviest, but the most impactful part of the season was when Tony met up with, I call him Bunk because I'm a big Wire fan, but she meets up with a big time like real estate developer guy. And she wants to ask him out on a date. He says, "You're not my type." And she goes, "I'm everyone's type. Look at me." And he goes, "Well, that's not my point. My point is like, you're not ambitious enough for me." And he drops like the line of pretty much the entire show is like, "What's your obituary going to say about you?" And that motivates Tony to pretty much stop what she's doing and just go all in on starting her own business. And when she presents this idea to her friends, now granted, she just thought about it that day. And when she presents it to her friends, Maya and Lynn are like, "You go, girl, you do it." And Joan's like, what about the legal costs? Where are you going to like place this? How are you going to handle your taxes? Where's your real estate going to be at? She's asking all these technical questions, kind of shooting down her dream.
You asked 2 good questions. Like I had 2, I thought, and then you switched me to a second thought, but continue.
So I guess in that scenario, right? Should Joan have been more supportive of Tony when she wanted to start her own business, or was Joan actually right in trying to like ground her a little bit to kind of think of like the more realistic aspects?
Before you get to this question, I just want to say one thing.
Sure.
As a man, have you never dealt like with a woman that's like that, or like have you ever
been, like Joan or Tony?
Like Tony, where you're like, oh, like for example, this happens to me all the time. Like literally, this is why I thought it was so funny. Where it's like, there's this girl who's like fine, and she's like, oh, like she'll look at me and she'll be like, "Yo, I'm the catch. Like niggas is on me. Like I'm fine. Everyone wants me." And I look at it and I'm like, you're not really my type. I wouldn't really fuck with you. But like she's literally looks perfect. Like she probably had like all the followers, all the likes. But it's just like it's funny to me watching the show because the nigga was like, "There's no substance here." And do you ever feel that? Because I don't know, it might be the same thing for women. Because I've actually heard that on women. I've heard women say this. They was like, "I don't like a nigga to be too fine," and I'm like, "What?"
Interesting.
I've heard that before. And then that's when niggas started with the whole medium ugly thing, and it's just like
I am a medium ugly fan. I am admitting on the interwebs I like medium ugly niggas, and here's why. I feel like people, and I feel like this goes for like across the gender spectrum, because we know there's more than 2 genders. I feel like people who like sometimes know that they're fine, they really ride on the fact that they're fine. And so like they just bank on that all the time. Like, I'm fine. Well, I'm fine. Like, like how Tony like approached the big wig, like real estate guy, like, I'm fine. And I think like to me, people who are actually like, because being physically fine is one thing, but people who are like actually fine, I feel like they know that they're fine, and then they know that like they have to bring more to the table. Like to be fine is literally not enough, because it's like, okay, you fine, like that's gonna keep my interest for that's maybe like a week or so. But like, girl, I don't care if you fine. Like, I mean, it's 2020. There's plenty of fine bitches out here, and men too. Like, there are women. Let me not call them bitches, but the point is, there's plenty of fine people out here. So like, I definitely agree. But I feel like while we were saying that just now, when you were just like, I'll sit and like women will tell me like I'm fine. Like, I felt like there was like a touch of misogyny in that statement.
There was a touch of misogyny. No, for sure there was a touch.
Because I don't think there's nothing wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong with knowing your worth. And sadly, you can take this and you can be mad at your fellow men. I feel like there's a lot of men out here who have made it okay for some women to just be fine and that's it. Because there are men out here that like that's what they want and they'll eat it up. So it's like, as a woman, if you're, it's like situational awareness. Like, if you fully assess the dating scene and that like all you got to do is show up and be fine, like And if you notice enough for some people, like
Anna, you're touching
this and saying, you know, I'm fine. I know that I'm fine. I know that I'm the catch because there's nothing wrong with being self-aware. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, but this is exactly what the situation is. It's a fact that Toni is fine, and it's a fact that like she should feel the way she feels because as we've seen so far on the show, niggas want Toni.
Right.
But the thing is, she came to a nigga who's like, yo, I like he's breaded. Clearly, he's breaded. What you see, I don't know. Do you see that in the season? Does she ask him for the loan in the season?
Yeah.
So you know he's breaded. So clearly he could reach for that level of fine. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, I've been here. Like for example, if I'm a celebrity, you can't there's what Hannah said, there's a lot of fine women here. Like there's no reason that you should be leading with fine. Like you gotta differentiate yourself from other fine women.
But I'm gonna challenge you right now. I'm gonna challenge you right now in this day and age right now. I'm like, I don't know if I should leave the statement like unfortunately, but like being fine is enough these days. Like I've seen it happen in real time.
What's enough? What's enough?
Like it's enough to like get, you know, like y'all are like, what are you saying? Like right now, y'all don't live under a rock.
Because because it's not. I don't think it's enough. There's not a to get what you like. Men sometimes that I feel like I picked up on this very early on in college. Like men, or like maybe this is just like, I'm definitely generalizing here, but I feel like sometimes men, they like to like the fine girls, the quote unquote like superficially fine girls. I feel like those are the girls that more often than not end up getting wiped up. Now I'm not gonna say like, is that the relationship? Like I feel like those relationships sometimes, like I'm not saying that the nigga doesn't then go on and cheat and do other stuff, but I feel like a lot of like just superficially on the surface, like girls that are just fine, no substance, like you're just fine, you check the like the baddie box, those are the girls that end up in relationships. But it's like if you're fine and you have substance and then you can actually think and all that other stuff, like if you can think and all that other stuff and you have like your own thinking process, you know, you got shit in between your ears, then I feel like then it's like another type of, you're walking into different territory. Because a man will acknowledge that, but will that also, you know, will that then turn into a relationship? No, it doesn't always turn into a relationship. Let me just stop with what you're saying, and this is definitely misogyny. I'm mad that this is camera. But with certain type of niggas, I'm not saying that I am of this caliber of nigga. I don't think I am. But certain type of niggas that can own that they're not even talking to you. If the base level is that you're flames, like you're fine. That's when you have to differentiate yourself. I can see from when you're in college and you look at like, oh, why is this dumb bitch getting cuffed? But I mean, now looking back at it, it's like those relationships, rarely do those relationships even last. Like
that's what I said. I was like, not to say like those are picture perfect relationships, but even still, I think a lot of men sometimes, and this is like proven, like I feel like you've said this to me at one point in time, but I feel like a lot of women who are like fine and then they have substance or they just got shit going on for themselves outside of like, you know, just being fine. I feel like that honestly intimidates a lot of men. Like they'd be like, all right, like, I'm good off that.
And especially, and you know why it intimidates?
It might be a game of like cat and mouse. Like they might like, you know, hit you up, text you every now and then, but like they're not, I don't think they're really sitting there and like really trying to court you because they probably know they can't handle you. And I've actually had men say
I don't even know if it's can't handle. I don't think niggas feel they're ready. And honestly, like if I can go back to 20, if I can go back to like 24, yeah, niggas be knowing like, yo, I can't. Like I can't deal with she's too smart for me or she's too career for me. I'm not ready for this at this point in my life. And my advice to all young niggas is just be ready for it and at least act. Like just act through it.
No.
So I'll
good ones go.
Don't do that. I'm gonna say don't
good
do that.
Good ones go, fellas. You're 24, just cover. You know,
you're wasting her time because that literally you're wasting someone's time. I feel like I recently dealt with someone who like they made it crystal clear. They're like, you know, I don't really think I'm your type or like blah blah blah. They kept saying stuff like this, and I was like, okay, whatever that means. And I recently my therapist was encouraging me to like, oh, you know, try new things and blah blah. Try not to be so rigid going into dating. And it's like if somebody is, and my mom says this all the time, like when somebody show you who they really are, when people are transparent with you and be like, hey, like, I think you out of my league, or I can't handle you, or I'm not your type. Like, just dip, sis. Just dip. There's other partners out there. Just leave. Like, I'm not.
I'll say this. There is a flip side to this, right? And the show does kind of touch upon this a lot in the later seasons. So you're saying, like, for example, you brought up like if a woman is too successful, that can intimidate the guy. Well, there has been instances where like Tony will literally tell a person like, "Hey, you're not rich enough for me." In later seasons, Joan does that to some people, or kind of like harps on that. I think all the girlfriends do that. Even in this season, for example, where Lynn, she brings Vasco from Jamaica into America. First off, if you're an immigrant traveling from like one country to another, it's incredibly hard to like get a job, start getting your footing down. It's incredibly hard, and I don't think like Americans like fully understand that. I think they just think like, oh, you're in America now, land opportunities, but there's like a lot of bureaucracy and stuff that kind of hinders you from being successful. But anyways, that's my own little personal tangent. So anyways, Lynn brings Vasco to the United States. And Vasco is like, I gave up my job to be here with you, and I'm trying to pursue my dreams, but he's not making money. And that was a huge friction in their relationship and ultimately ended it. So, like, do you guys think that Lynn had a point? Like, should Vasco have been like more financially supportive for Lynn?
It's not even like he was just a bum. Like I felt like he just.
I disagree though. But
no, I agree, and I disagree.
Like he didn't. That doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, go and find a job now, like tomorrow. But he wasn't. I don't even feel like he was trying. Did I feel like he was trying? Because I didn't feel like he was trying.
So actually, this is kind of what Kev says. So me knowing immigrants that have come to this country, like for example, my cousin came to America when I was probably like 12, and he was like 21. But when he came here, my mom was like, "Yo, like, go to this tech school, like basically do like handy jobs." You know what I'm saying? Like shit he could have just did in Ghana, and he was like, "Nah, fuck that. I'm going to chase. I came to America to chase my dreams. I did not come to America to fucking fix niggas' toilets."
Right.
Okay, but that's not even the time Bosco was off. He realized just came with her because he was in love. Like
no. But he said that line in season 2. I'll never forget it. He was like, I'm not here to baggage no fucking airport. Like I'm not trying to be no baggage handler. Like I did not come here to do that. I came here to chase my dreams. I'm dreaming bigger than that.
What was his dream? What was his dream?
I forgot what his
dream was. But
right, I can't even remember.
No. To Dwa's point though, like like for Jamaica, for example, you can work as like a baggage handler. Sure, you don't get paid that much, but your healthcare is paid for by the government. You come to the United States, you ain't got free healthcare. That's like a huge thing.
You came here to make me struggle with no healthcare. No,
right. Like we don't like highlight like when you're poor in America, like sometimes being poor back in your home country it could have been a little bit better. But my whole thing was like, if it was any of the other girlfriends, I'd have been like, you know what, I can see their point. But Lynn spent years living off of her friends to follow her dreams, and when she literally finds a guy who wants to like follow his dreams, but he's living off of Lynn to do that, Lynn has a very serious problem with that, and she kind of ruins or hits at this guy's manhood whenever she gets a chance. This guy bought her a dog, and she flips out of it and dumps him for buying her a dog.
Can we have a serious conversation about this right now?
Yeah, like why are you buying me a dog? We living in somebody's garage. Like what are you getting a dog for?
So, see, this is perfect. Yo, Kev, I'm so happy that we have a woman here. Sure. Because me and you would just be sitting here agreeing. Like, what the fuck? Like, I just got you a dog. Like, be happy.
Right.
And at that time, Bosco Jr. wasn't even like no cute dog. Like, he was like a full-grown, like, throwaway shelter dog. Like, what am I doing?
Wow.
I can't even put him in my purse.
We condone shelter dogs, by the way. Please rescue.
Okay, but I'm just saying, like, on a scale of like really, like Bosco Jr. the dog wasn't ugly, but like, come on, y'all, like, man, pull it up to you with a dog. I gotta. That was her Valentine's Day gift, right?
I think it was Valentine's Day gift.
They had $5 Valentine's Day gift.
It was essentially just another mouth to feed, and to me, it's just like, why would you do that? Like, are you okay?
Interesting. That's a good way to put it.
You know what's funny? Let me just tell y'all a quick story. So recently, one of my female friends who I know has no bread, but she's kind of fine. Actually, she's pretty fine. And she was like, I'm like, she was basically bashing broke niggas, and I was like, wait. you're broke too. I was like, wait, like I know how much you think, I know how you moving. And it's so funny because like celebrities always talk about this. They're always like these Instagram people that you be gassing, they have no bread. And that's literally what this was. Like Lynn has no money, and she finally had to like be an adult. And she was like, yo, this shit isn't even really worth it. Like, I'd rather be on the other side. I'd rather be the what's his name, Bosco, than be the nigga, the Joan. Like, I'm not
right.
I'm trying to be the catch, not the catchy or whatever. I don't even know the word. But
right.
he was also wild though.
He was. I'm highly downplaying it because he's so fellow West Indian. Shout out to my West Indians. So I had to support him. But he was wild.
Ryan's gonna watch this episode and be gassed. Fuck out of here.
So I don't have a good way to segue this next topic. So I apologize to our listeners out here. Let's talk about corporate America, right? So I think Girlfriends does a pretty good job of this highlighting like the struggles of like just being Black in corporate America, but they do it in such a funny way. Like it's very easy to kind of gloss over it.
Yo, Kev, that just reminded me, and I don't want to like cut you off, but one thing you didn't talk about in your summary, and I wrote this in here, and I just noticed was the case where Joan and this is touching on your corporate America thing, where Joan didn't like she got a case where she had to stand up for the basketball player who did the shit.
Yeah.
And it's just like, do you ever feel I forgot the details of the case, but he said something that, and for like he was like the face of a brand and they were like suing him. I forgot what the details were, but do you ever feel in corporate America as a Black man or a Black woman for Hannah that like you gotta like uphold a certain type of standard because you feel like you're the picture of Black people? Because I felt that way.
Yeah.
You don't feel like that? No, I don't feel like that. I don't care.
I do. Like you always do feel 100%. That way. And like I had like managers who were Black who kind of remind you from day one, like, yo, you're Black. And so like you have to work twice as hard in order to get ahead. And in this environment.
And they like it's not even just getting ahead, it's like you gotta work harder just so like people don't judge you. I don't care now. So I'm on some now where it's like now I'm like on some fuck shit. But like when I was at JP Morgan, I can say them because I don't work for them. But when I was there, I was busting my ass, bro. Like you know how we was leaving when it was dark. Like, like you remember
the gag is,
yeah.
The gag is like I feel like damn if you do, damn if you don't. You can work super hard and people still want to say shit about you. Like I work in the PR industry. I'm not gonna say where I work because
don't definitely don't.
But I work at a top PR agency, and I feel like I just started marching to the beat of my own drum when I realized that me as a Black woman, no matter what I do, I will literally never be. I'm not gonna be one of them. One of them being like the PR industry is like very like it's dominated by like white, like preppy, like very white women. So it's like I'm not ever gonna be one of them. So it's like why should I even try to sit here and try to fit into this mode? I will say admittedly when I first started working, I did try to like really assimilate into the culture. Just try to like not stick out as much and like not make a scene. Like I just did not want to draw any attention to myself. But now it's like I'm like like almost 3 years in, and it's like I'm here for a reason, and it's like clear that I don't know. I just don't think about that and obsess over that as much as I did when I first started. But I also can acknowledge the fact that like I am much more confident in myself, like as a professional, because I wasn't like lacking confidence in myself on a personal level when I started, but professionally, like when you're walking in like on an entry level, like since you don't know a lot of stuff, you're just playing small. But like once you start knowing your value and know what you can bring into like a conference room or just to a project, like you just talk your shit a little differently. Like I don't be in there wilding, but I'm not sitting there trying to.
That was a good point because I remember. Oh wait, you gotta go.
No. So I was gonna actually say like Hannah actually brought up a good point, and like they do kind of talk about people like wilding in the workplace. But I'll bring that up later. So Dwal, you go ahead of your point.
Wait, was that in this season?
Yes. So like I was gonna bring it up.
You can bring that up right now because I was gonna actually touch on that.
So I was gonna bring up like having Maya in the workplace. So Maya's the definition of like wilding in the workplace. So for example. Like, I don't think she ever works a full day. She takes time on the clock. She'll go and get her hair braided while on the clock. She has some issues.
She was me at the end of JP Morgan. Right? I'm about to go get a cut. Like, fuck. I don't care what they say to me, but yeah.
Right. Like, for example, like she was really close with Joan. There's like hardly any boundaries there. There was one moment where, like, for example, Maya's mom used to watch after Jabari. And because I think she had like a fallen, this part was kind of dumb, but basically she had a fallen out of her mom because her mom wanted to move outside the county. Still in the state, hour drive away. But she got pissed off at her.
That'll be a whole nother conversation. I wish we could talk about it when we're not going to, because people with parents be wilding. But continue.
Right. So basically, like, her mom moved, but she was like Jabari's primary caretaker when she was at work, and so she was looking for a new caretaker. And in that moment, she pretty much brought Jabari into work and just had him in the workplace when she wasn't supposed to. So, like, talk about like wilding in the workplace. Have you ever had like a coworker like Maya? What did you do, or were you that Maya in the workplace?
I mean, one time I have a personal story that I'm gonna put Kev on blast right now. So one time, one of my coworkers was done up, hungover, crazy as fuck, crazy hungover. Kev's gonna ask sis if Kev was actually wild here, even though this wasn't about Kev, but it was just about the fact that everyone in the office knew this lady was hungover, and Kev's gonna ask if she had a baby on the way. Am I saying the story correctly? Am I saying the story correctly?
No, she came over to me, and she was like, "I have a food baby," and I go,
she was sick, and she was sick the whole time. Like, everyone knew she was fucked up. Like, yeah. So, and then she said Kev was wilding, but regardless, like, if you see people wilding at work, it's just like, don't align yourself with them.
Okay, but let's just. Because now when you ask the question, you're like, are you a Maya? Like, low key, I'm not gonna lie, I definitely have been the Maya, not to the extent that like Maya was like wow, but I definitely have like gone to go take care of personal appointments in the middle of the workday.
Like getting hair braided, and like getting your hair braided.
No, I know
that's like a 7-hour event.
I'm gonna go get like waxes in the middle of the workday. Like if it was a little slower, I've just ran other personal errands, but it's also like Maya was ahead of her time in the sense that like employers, I feel like they were trying to like dominate your entire like, these are my 8 hours, like you need to be here, like yo, like that's not realistic. If anything, this pandemic has like reminded me, because I already knew this. I used to do whatever I want when I still did my job on time, as I was supposed to. Everything, no complaints. But I just felt like wilding is relative. Like, I never thought, like, Maya still obviously was getting her job done. Like, it was crystal clear, like, when, like, it was clear that Maya had a handle on things. Was it necessarily the right way? No, but Maya was getting shit done, and that's no matter.
Hey, that's a very interesting spin on it. So we'll hop off, like, corporate America, for example. We can probably move on to kind of the overall theme of the entire season, which was like kind of men versus women, and we can kind of dive into Big Willie's relationship with Yvonne. So like kind of do like a little quick recap. Big Willie, I understand where he's coming from. He was never fully invested in the relationship. He really liked Yvonne, but he was never really fully invested in the relationship.
Talk about it, Kev. Thank you.
He was just never fully involved. And like, I think Yvonne kind of saw some like the warning signs, but she just didn't care, or like kind of wanted a dream wedding. So like one scenario that I touch up, like when Yvonne got nervous that Big Willie was getting cold feet. He wasn't going to set a wedding date. They didn't even live together. So she goes over to Joan and she's crying her heart out at Joan. And Joan basically was like, he's nervous about asking you to live together. So in that scenario, what should have happened? Because Joan told Big Willie at work, if you're not feeling it, cut it off. And Big Willie was like, I'm not sure. I don't want to cut it off, but I don't want to live with her either. So have you guys ever been in that scenario where like, you were in a relationship but you just weren't like fully committed?
I just thought about some shit, Kev. But
what's up, man?
I feel like you might be the perfect one for this question, bro.
No, I disagree.
You know why?
But
And you know what I'm saying that, and it's not to the extreme. It's not to the extreme right now of you ever been in that level of a relationship where you would ever string a woman along. I'm not trying to say that, but I feel like you definitely do shit that you don't want to do because you want to be the nice guy. Like I feel like
that's business out there.
I know, no, it's just
like
none of his business. Like Kev is that guy. Like Kev is literally the guy.
Kev is really sweet.
Like he's just a nice
Oh,
guy.
thank
Like,
you. Thank
and
you.
I think Big Willie got caught in that where it's just like I want to
Interesting.
I want to do the
Kev
right
is a nice
thing.
guy. Kev hung out with me Super Bowl day.
Now you get too deep. Let's not get too deep. We're getting too deep into our business. Chill the fuck out on
we had fun though. That was a good day.
Yeah, way too deep into our
and
business.
he has to hang out with me. Okay, dog, don't worry. Nobody gonna put your own business out there.
But as I was saying, Kev,
the awkward silence.
like Kev
You
was.
told somebody you wasn't my. Okay, let me stop being messy.
See what you see.
It's an evil world we live in.
I don't even know. Yeah, I forgot what the topic was. Honestly,
all right, new topic.
Either way, Big Willie was doing some shit that he did not want. He never wanted to be with her, and he should have just said it from the rip and not been nice. He got caught into. I feel like at this point in this point in the season, Big Willie wasn't Big Willie because later in the show he becomes a killer.
He's a savage.
Yvonne was like his beginning to it, and he did not know how to play the game when he got her, and that's really just what it is.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it too, and I think like him getting left at the altar was probably the best thing to happen to her. To be honest, I mean, yes, it was super embarrassing, but like you didn't even tell your mom about her. Like you weren't about this. You bought a house. You didn't even tell her that you bought a house for her. So it's like,
but can we also just touch on the fact that like, okay, if we're gonna bring up the mom situation, can we also just touch on the fact that like William's relationship with his mom was a little weird. Beyond a little weird, it was weird. Like,
how was it weird?
Be honest about that. It was weird. Like I felt like she was a bit too involved, and he was a bit too like. That's a grown man. Like, yeah, y'all close to y'all mamas like that?
No.
Okay.
But like I think that kind of highlighted Yvonne's point that like, yes, you're right. His relationship with his mom was super like close. And the fact that he didn't even tell her about the relationship and how serious it was, I think that kind of cemented the fact that like, I can't do this anymore. So I mean, that's a good point you brought up there. All right. There was another situation here that I want to talk about. All right. So basically like in the beginning of season 2, Maya and the girlfriends got shopping. Maya's not the Burkes friend. Lynn's the Burkes friend, but Lynn's okay being the Burkes friend. Maya is not. And so Maya's hanging out with Tony and Joan, and like she is by far the Burkes fan. And so they're out shopping, and Maya's kind of in this funk or whatever. And so basically, like Tony convinces Maya to buy a dress. And the dress was very expensive. And so Joan peer pressures Maya to buy the dress that was way outside of her price range. She didn't really need it.
$300, bro.
$300, right?
Mind you, actually, this was actually also when we found out who her new husband was, even though it was like this scene because it was no longer Flex from 101.
True. That is true. That's where you discover her new actor husband, basically. So then, Maya pretty much like goes home. She has the dress in her closet, and Darnell comes in all pissed, or the new Darnell comes in all pissed off because his car broke down. And when he went to go get it fixed, his credit card or his debit card got denied because she used the money in the bank account to buy this dress. And that's how he found out. So their car is broke. He doesn't have the money to fix it. She has this brand new dress, and he just flips out on her.
I have a question, actually. Just touching.
Go for it.
This is mainly for Hannah. I thought this was fake news, but why are women dealing with niggas that have way less money than them? Because I've seen
it's the reality of it's the ways of the world, honestly, Stephen.
Like I've seen some tweets about some women dating that live with
niggas asking them for money.
Yes, you saw that? That shit was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's the ways of the world, Stephen. And I'm gonna send you this other podcast that talked about this. It's called Dating at NYC. But statistically speaking, Stephen, as a Black woman, if you're in a relationship,
Call
9
me
out of
Steven
10,
Tyler,
you're,
I'm scared.
because this is really near and dear to my heart, and it truly breaks my heart. But a lot of women are the breadwinners in relationships, so it's like, unless and if you're not the breadwinner, like, oh my god, I don't even want to stereotype, but I'm gonna just keep it at the like, a lot of women are the breadwinners in relationships, and I just feel like a lot of women, we get to a certain point in our life where we feel like if we start to settle, like I feel like especially like the older women get like, okay, I'm 24 now, like, and I'm single.
24
So
is
it's like,
older.
Yikes.
but okay, but that's
Actually,
what I
yeah.
said.
Actually, real question:
Listen.
when does the age start settling for y'all? That's
This
crazy.
listen. This is what I was about to say. So like, I'm 24 now, so like I'm still like very like, like I'm not pressed. But I imagine as I get older up there, like if I start to hit like 27, 28, start to creep closer to 30, and if I don't have like something solid around, and they're just like making like, like all I'm gonna say is that I feel like a lot of women just settle. Like, so okay, this man might not have like money, but he can provide other things. Dick being one of them. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like a lot of it's just a result of women settling. Like, women be settling, particularly Black women. I feel like sometimes they settle. Okay, cool, like whatever, like if that's what you want to tell yourself. But I feel like more often than not, Black women settle more than Black men.
Wait, actually, what is settling though?
Yeah, what is settling?
Like, is settling just financially?
I mean, I think it relates back to the conversation we were having earlier, like just being with somebody.
No, I just completely just left with it.
But I'm just saying, like somebody that is out of your, that is like not within your same league.
I think women don't know what their league is.
Who don't?
I think most women don't know what their league is. Like, I be looking at what this is just me being that I've been in a lot of spectrums. I've been broke. I've had money. It's just like I see women and I'm just like, and I just see, and this is not even women that I'm trying to talk to or deal with. Like, I hear how they talk and I'm like, nah, sis, that nigga you're playing with, like, that's a catch for you. Like, you should probably fuck with that nigga. He's probably gonna treat you right.
But what would, like, for example, what makes something a catch? Like, please explain.
Like, he's attractive enough. He's careered. It's like, you might as well, fuck with that kind of nigga. And then instead you're gonna pick this dicey ass nigga who is Darnell trying to fix up cars.
But sometimes you also have to like understand like
that shit like a nigga.
It was so funny. I was really talking to somebody about this today. Like, I feel like sometimes like the safe option, like the good guy, the quote unquote good guy, that's not always like the exciting option, like especially like if you're still kind of young. Like, to me, like I don't want to play it safe and just throw with somebody just because like he's
this is so funny. I don't want to put niggas' business out here. but today we're gonna be funny on this podcast. But I had a text from one of my homies. I will not say his name, but this nigga met some girl and he was being the good guy when he did not need to be the good guy. And he was like, yeah, like I'm celibate. I'm doing like X, Y, and Z. I'm trying to be real intentional with dating. And then sis was like, do you have a micro penis? He's going to laugh when he hears this. And I was like, nigga, this is why I be telling you, lead with what? Like, I was like, yo, this nigga's being like, never, like, you're just going to end up playing yourself. And actually, that was the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. But
she said what? And she was serious?
I'll show you the text. Like, I'll show you the text, and after this, I'll tell you who the person is because you're gonna laugh, and you know who the person is because we've had this conversation with this person.
No names.
And she knows exactly what I'm talking about because I just said that. This was this weekend.
Said what? He said
I'll send you the text. We'll talk about this offline.
Please.
Oh God, I don't know who you guys are talking about.
Kev, this is one of my homies, and like this is like Kev and this friend are my friends where I'm like, yo, they are the nicest guys. He's a lot nicer than Kev though, because Kev is actually secretly a savage. I'm like, ladies, friends, men, whoever. Judge one child.
All right, let's go on to the fun topic here for the men versus women. Let's talk about the work husband. So basically, like in this season, there was two instances of like a work husband, right? So we had the obvious one was Maya and Stan. So like that was probably the most truest version of a work husband. And then the second instance was actually Joan and Chris. And Chris, if you guys don't remember, Chris was I think he was a mail clerk. He was a very young mail clerk. They met at the company baseball
yes.
game.
I was like, who's Chris? Yes.
Yeah, so they met at the company baseball game, and like Joan and Chris kind of hit it off at the company baseball game, basically. But they actually became like boyfriend and girlfriend. But still, they worked at the same place. So like, let's go into it. Have you guys ever had like a work husband or work wife?
I already said my story today about my work wife with Kev violated the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had a work husband before. It's cool.
So how far did that go? It is just like,
I mean,
was it like
one
Maya
time-
and Stan?
Maya and Stan. Oh no. That was cheating. That's something different. I'm not a cheater. One time I had a work husband and he was really cool. And I had a family member pass that was like super close to me. And my work husband, he made sure I was like straight. Like he bought me a little like bereavement package. I was like, oh my God, thank you. But like I've never fucked one of my work husbands before. I feel like that's just wild.
Well, and to Maya's defense, she never did either. They just kissed.
Okay,
and
they might
he kissed.
as well
He
have.
kissed. He kissed her. So.
They had a real emotional connection.
All right. So that was my thing, though. I thought like when you have like a work wife or husband, you do have like an emotional connection.
I was
with
just about to say that. Kev. I'm like, honestly, my situation is like if I was the guy on the other end, like you know how like let's say I was Hannah's boyfriend when she said it would have been cheating. Like the fact that a nigga sent you a bereavement, I don't know how to do it, package, I would be sick. Like,
He
why?
dropped it off to me.
Why would you ever send this to my girl? Like, what is your
right?
Okay, I
Like, stay in your lane.
wasn't in a relationship.
No, I know that. I'm just saying hypothetically, like, I would
Right.
be so sick because that's how these relationships be. And I've been on those situations where I was clearly trying to see what's up with the girl at work, and she had him in, like, and we was really kicking it. But the thing is,
I think
was
I know who you're
at
talking
work.
about.
And the thing is, Kev knows my work history, so it's like it's funny. But we can get off this topic.
No, fair enough. We don't want to get in trouble. We'll get off this topic. So I just want to get you guys' take on like the work husband, work wife type of scenario. Joan and Chris, we'll kind of hop to that like later on in the season. Let's talk about the Mother's Day episode. I thought that was a pretty big episode. So basically, the Mother's Day episode was kind of like where Maya realizes that her mom has a new man, and so she has to kind of deal with that scenario. She's the only child. And like her mom has a new man.
I didn't think we was going to talk about this.
We can talk about it because it's the Mother's Day episode. Basically, Tony is embarrassed of her mom because she's super loud and annoying, and Joan's just not really close to her mom at all. So, so what were your guys' thought of that Mother's Day episode? Like, did you align with any of the girlfriends at all, or did you like not really? Was Maya wrong for treating her mom that way? Was Tony wrong for treating her mom that way?
This is interesting because like I know people who aren't as close with their mom as I am with mine, and like there's definitely dudes who be embarrassed of their mom, but the thing is like my mom is like the same person as me, so like I kind of can't be embarrassed of her because like we move the same way. Like she's crazy as hell, I'm crazy as hell, but Joan was nuts for how she like I just don't think you should ever be in public like mistreating your mom, even if you have an issue with your mom.
I thought that was Tony.
Yeah, I agree.
Or Tony, whoever. Tony.
Yeah. Tony was like,
Tony. My fault.
Yeah.
And Tony, and I mean that's goes on through the whole show. Like how Tony treats her mom is nuts because she looks down on her mom at the end of the day.
100%. She looks down on her mom. Yeah.
And it's like no matter what you come from, it's just like you should never look down on the person who helped you get to where you're at. Because at the end of the day, I mean, black families, like your mom's always gonna be that person.
All right, so let's get on to like the later part of the season. So in the beginning of the season, Joan has a boyfriend, Sean. Sean's a sex addict that we meet in season 1. So Sean gets a job in New York, and so they basically, they decide to do like a long distance relationship. We can talk about if a long distance relationship actually works or not. So basically, like the route that they decided to go was like they were going to take like an official break, and then when they get back together physically, they're going to come back together as one. So in this meantime, that's where Joan met her work husband Chris, and like those two kind of kicked it off. They, they made fun of the age difference a lot. I'm not sure how old Chris was. I'm not sure if he was 18 or 19, and Joan was like 29 or 30. But they
He
really
had to
touched
be
on
like
that.
23. Like that's wild. Like he had to.
Yeah, yeah. They really kind of hit on the age thing a little bit too heavy for me. They had like I call it the Dare episode where Joan takes drugs for the first time, and like
Okay, no. Joan didn't take them drugs. Homeboy slipped her them drugs.
No. She grabbed them, took them.
She didn't know what it was.
and tripped. Yeah, she didn't know what
She
it
didn't
was.
know what it
Then
was.
then he gave it.
But all right, in his defense, he didn't know. Like he thought
He
that
didn't
she was
know
about
what?
it. He didn't. When the way she was like, "Yeah, I'll take one," he was like, "Oh, she's about it. Cool."
I see. I see
He
what
didn't
you're
know.
saying. I see what kept saying.
He just didn't know.
But at the end of the day, like it was still both sides. I understand both sides. But
Yeah.
so wait, what's the first question? Because the first question we need to touch on.
Oh, so the first question is, so between like Joan and Sean, they decided to do a long distance relationship at first.
Yeah, we were talking about this relationship.
So do you guys think a long distance relationship can work?
No. So I know that's me. My last relationship started close distance, and then she ended up moving. Kevin knows this ex. She ended up moving to go get. What was she trying to do? Some pre-med shit.
Yeah, get a medical doctor in medicine or something like that.
And it's like me and her, like we was tight. Like it's funny because me and her talked recently, and we are like, "Yo, if I never made that move, like we'd probably still be together." And I was like, "Probably." And it's just like those things never work out because it's just like, for me, I started moving crazy. I know, like Kev was there to witness it. I started moving wild as fuck. I don't know what she's doing over there.
Ghetto.
Like it's just like long distance relationships, especially when you're pre 25. Like well, I was like 20. I was like 24 when that started. When she moved, and it's just like you can't. I feel like it might work in your 30s, where it's like. I feel like right now, actually, I'm about to be 30 soon, soon-ish. It could work for me. I don't know if you feel that way, Kev, where it's like now we're older and it's like we have a game plan. It's like I'm here for this. The days seem faster because we're always working.
Yeah, I was gonna.
Younger, it's like nah, man. Like I'm out in these streets. Like I can't not have you here.
Yeah, I agree. I agree because like I think like when you're younger, your mindset is more so like I'm young, like I can rebound, whatever. But I think like when you get older, if you guys have like a set like timeline in place, like I'm gonna be gone for this long, and like either you're gonna move or I'm gonna come back. I think as long as you guys have that, established, it can work. But like if someone moves and there's no clarity on like when you guys are going to physically get back together permanently, it's just like that's not going to work. Like that's just you're wasting each other's time at that point.
I think even with that though, Kev, it's like because they kind of had it. They were like, "Yo, I'm gonna do this job." She was like, "I'm gonna do this job temporarily, come back to LA," which she eventually did. I don't think that happened in season 2, but it's just like I feel like you can't. I feel like we're like humans are just always evolving. And just like I'm meeting new people, you're meeting new people. We're not really spending the same amount of time with each other. It's hard to continue building a relationship because when you're in a relationship, you're building a relationship. So it's like it's a dub.
So yes,
how she felt. She felt like
Hannah, how do you feel about that?
We need a woman's perspective because me and Kev agree. I hate when me and Kev agree.
I know.
I was in a long distance relationship in college, and I felt like it was working fine on my end. Like I was very faithful. Like it was like my first very serious relationship. Just come to find out, like that man was having a blast. So I feel like that has like made me very jaded when it comes to long distance relationships. But growing into myself like as a woman and just like as a person, and a partner, I do know that like I'm the type of person like me and Dora talk about this like often. Like I need space. Like I need like space to like debrief from like people and interactions. Like even if that's like a romantic partner. So it's like I don't think a long distance relationship would actually be like the worst thing in the world for me. I don't think it was like I don't think I would just willingly sign up for one.
Wait, what's a long relationship? Like what do you consider like LA? London.
Okay, that's nuts. Like that. Like I don't think I would ever.
Are you
do
talking about
something
DC
like
to
that.
New York?
Like, to me,
Hey,
that's long distance.
hey,
Is it
for
not?
some people, it's Brooklyn to like Manhattan.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Right.
I feel like I can get to DC the same way I can get to Queens.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like it's all relative, but I know when I had that distance, like it made me value and be more present when I was actually physically with that person. So I don't know. Like long distance relationships honestly are not that bad for me. Like it would not be a deal breaker for me. I know some people like it's a deal breaker, but
Mhm.
kind of like going back to what you think of, like I feel like as long as as you get older, as long as you have a plan, like if we're on some career shit, like I'm in this city because the job market is XYZ, and like I
Mhm.
predict that in 3 years I'm gonna have this done and that done, and then we can move here to, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like if as long as y'all are moving with intention, y'all are fine. But like I feel like if you really want somebody and y'all are really committed, long distance relationships are not that bad.
I agree with that. So I guess like so moving on a little bit to progress like the storyline. So we had a Dare episode where Joan gets high. Her girlfriends, instead of her just sleeping it off like any other normal person, to take her to the emergency room. I'm sorry, I was really like ticked off at the Dare episode. And as for if you guys are too young to know, Dare back in the day, that was like our drug program that it kind of drilled into us when we were younger. So anyways, like so basically like they're good, like they're hitting it off. Joan has this poor guy on his 3 month rule, so they never been like intimate. And then Joan finally decides, you know what? I'm going to end my 3 month rule for you. It's your lucky day. And so he gets super excited. He can't wait. And Joan gets a phone call, and that phone call is from Sean. And Sean lets her know that he's back in LA. And Joan immediately ends it with Chris to try to get back with Sean. She invites Sean over. Sean comes over and lets her know that I think within like the 6 months he was gone, maybe, that he got engaged and that it's over between those two. And that kind of sent like Joan into like this little bit of a depression in a way. And it turns out that Sean actually just lied to Joan to end the relationship so that he can just get on with his life. Joan finds out at a restaurant. Her girlfriends are there to see Sean on a date. Joan awkwardly goes up to them in the middle of their date and lets them know, "Hey, I'm so happy for you too." And she's like, "Congrats on your engagement."
She was wilding for that.
She was wilding for that.
That's happened to me before.
What's talking? You want to talk about it?
Like that's happened to me before. Where, well, not that me lying. I've never lied and said I was about to get engaged. But
Right.
I'm just talking about where like, oh, girl was like, this is actually when I was with the girl who we were just previously speaking about, who went to med school, but we were out one time and a girl pulled up on me and was like, yo, like, congrats. I'm happy that you're in a relationship now. And I was like, my nigga, what was the shit on Wednesdays? What's the shit on Wednesdays in Philly?
What? Oh, not White Girl Wednesday.
Not Wednesday. No.
Oh, okay.
That's
Okay.
the corporate shit. What was this shit called?
Center City Sips.
Sips. Yes, we were at Sips. Someone pulled up on me on that kind of shit. I was like, yo, what the fuck is going on? So, ladies, please don't do that. That's
Right.
That's
Never
do
do
what?
that.
Don't pull up and try to congratulate niggas on a relationship. Like, relax.
Why
Like, we're
not?
done.
Why not?
It's clipped.
It creates, first off, between like the guy and his newfound girl, it creates a very awkward scenario because it's more so like, who is that? And then it's like, what was your relationship? Now you have to start talking about your ex when you were over your ex. And it just creates like an awkward scenario between you two. So it's just like, just avoid it altogether.
I
you know?
gotta
Just-
talk bad about you so I can be in the clear. It's like, I don't want to talk.
Right. Just shoot me a text. Hey, congrats. Thank you. That's it. Keep it moving.
I'll buy you a shot. Like, I'll send it over to your table. But don't come over.
So, all right. So then, like, Joan finds out that Sean's not engaged very awkwardly, very publicly, and
Slaps that.
she slaps him. So who was right? Who was
Have you ever
more
slapped someone in
wrong?
public?
Huh?
Have you ever slapped someone in public?
Like a man?
Yes.
Yeah. That's a yes.
In public, nah. In public, no.
Oh, I was about to say that.
Oh, okay.
In public, nah.
Well, Steven, have you ever been slapped?
I've been slapped multiple times. It's funny that Kev said that because he knew what the answer was.
I already know the answer.
The most recent time I got slapped in public was at the Roost Picnic. Last time Roost Picnic was outside, because this year Roost Picnic was virtual, but last year Roost Picnic was like a regular Roost Picnic. We was there. I got slapped, and I still don't remember why I got slapped, because the lady involved.
Are you okay?
I don't remember like our relationship. Where it slapped me.
So this is in 2019.
This was in 2019, yes.
Interesting.
And
Wow.
I didn't. It wasn't even like a situation for me.
Nah, don't try to clean it up now.
I mean, I'm not gonna. I have a whole
Just have
Yo,
it
if you guys want to go
on
check out the What You Expect podcast, we have a whole episode about me talking about getting slapped at the Roost Picnic. And that's it. Like, I just got slapped. That's the. I've been slapped multiple times though. I got slapped on the Of Course Walk. Shouts to Temple. That was an embarrassing situation because it was a hot day, and if you went to Temple, you know, hot days on the walk.
Yeah. I mean, I did actually miss the walk. That was like HBTU Central.
You're HBCU nigga now. You can't.
Yeah, I can't. Let's edit that. Let's edit that part out. Edit point.
Gus is gonna shake when he sees this video.
All right. So let's talk about like the main storyline here. So Dwight, you kind of had this down in your talking points. So Darnell finds out that Maya cheated, quote unquote cheated. I don't know if I consider that cheating or not. Because it was a kiss. The kiss is cheating, but anything before that, I don't know if that was cheating or not.
If your girl ever kissed a dude, yes, she's cheating, all right?
I was trying to be progressive. So basically, would you end the relationship over that?
His face just killed me, bro. I was like, what?
So would you end the relationship pretty much over that? If your girl or a guy kiss someone else of the opposite sex?
I be ending relationships with girls that have friends that are too close that I already don't.
You talking about the work husband?
Your work husband is way too close to you. I can't fuck with you. I can't. Like, that's just me personally, because I don't know. I don't know what happened to me in life, but I just can't. I can't deal with that kind of shit, man.
I'm actually kind of surprised that when the girlfriends were in their relationships, that William wasn't more of an issue to the guys that they were. You know what I mean? Like, that only got brought up once with Lynn. That only got brought up once with Lynn, and later I'm foreshadowing down the road. So I'm sorry, guys, but like from season 2 is like none of the guys really cared about William, really, and that kind of shocked me because William's very much straight. If he had the opportunity, he'll hook up with all of them.
I would never let if I knew a girl had a friend like William's clip. Clip for me. Like, I couldn't deal with it. Because one, I already know that nigga has hella bread.
He's rich.
So it's like if I was ever down bad, like this nigga would be like, nah, Joan, I got you. Like, nah, Maya, I got you.
So you don't want your girl to have a strong support system?
See how they spin. It's not even that you don't want it. It's just like you don't want a nigga who has bread who can do things for your girl that you can't do.
What is wrong with y'all? What is wrong with men? This is disgusting. So
can I big up William though?
You want your girl to be friends with a broke nigga?
No.
That's not what we're saying. That's not what we're saying.
Can I big up William?
Yeah, before you big up, I just want to clear my name. But I'm just trying to say, it's like you don't ever want niggas don't want other niggas around who are real niggas around their girl. That's just
what?
That they can actually take their girl.
Because that's a nigga that could take your girl. Like at any time.
Y'all are nuts.
When niggas who are really about the game, it could be an insecurity.
It's literally an insecurity.
That's
so you
fine.
want your girl to be surrounded by like fucking two gazy ass niggas and some shit.
Yeah, because then I'll be like, oh, this nigga not taking my girl. This bitch ass nigga not taking my girl.
That's really insecure.
Right. And if you do pull a Darnell and like, you know, something happens and you end it,
Darnell,
you feel better about yourself.
Imagine Darnell and William. Like that dynamic should be crazy. They should have played on that. Because if I'm Darnell, I'm not letting William around my girl because William won't do anything.
Right.
Why can't you just be secure and knowing that your girl is your girl and that she's
because it's
no.
That's not how the world works.
William's already hooking up with one of the girlfriends. Like it's already happening in real time.
William's already knocked down one. He's probably gonna knock mine down next because I work at a fucking shop.
You
Well, I
know,
can't even
men
fix
think like
my-
this because they do this themselves. They know what they're capable of. Only a grimy, insecure nigga would be thinking like this. And that's my hill that I'm willing to stand on. No decent, like solid on an own 2 feet ass nigga would be thinking like this. Like if I was a man, I would want my girl to have a nice little like, you know, friend group. Like I want you to have people outside of me that you can depend on. Like if some shit hit the fan.
Not no
Why?
nigga. Not no nigga. Not no nigga. So Hannah, so if you was dating a nigga, you would be fine with this nigga having fucking some badass Instagram model as his best friend that be half speaking on
if
IG.
it was already established, if y'all had like, because
You know niggas. If a nigga has a girl that's tough, you already know he's tried her at least once.
That is a fact.
So like, what's the issue?
You're just very
All
secure.
I'm saying is that sounds really insecure to me. Like
It is.
do
No,
you
it's
want
for
your
sure.
girl to
It
be
is
around you?
insecurity.
I'm just letting you know that's how niggas think in their head.
Well,
Niggas
This is
know what they're
like for
capable
sure,
of doing
and this
themselves.
is like an ego thing that men have. It's like you can tell when niggas look at another nigga and be like, "Oh, no, you can never have my girl." Like you can never have it, and those actually be the niggas that actually end up having your girl. But that's a different conversation.
right. And to big up William, I know they kind of like play William off as like this goofy dude. William was a former, I think he was a former college basketball player. So he has that going for her. Yeah, they kind of briefly touch about it. I don't know if it's in season 1 or season 2, but later down in the season, they really do harp on the fact that he used to play ball back in the day. He used to play with Darnell later down the road, so I'm like foreshadowing big time. But like he has the perfect resume. He's super rich. His career's going places. He's in shape because he plays ball. Like
Why wouldn't you be sick that your lady is hanging around this nigga?
for sure.
And that's the thing. Like, I know women are gonna look at that as an insecurity, and I'm fine with y'all looking at that as an insecurity, but it's just like you should be aware because I feel like as a nigga, you should always be competing to keep your girl. Like, I feel like that should just be a thing.
No. I see what you're saying. You should always be like, because I do believe that some niggas they get the girl then they get real comfortable. I see what you're saying. Like you should always like.
You can argue that was Darnell.
Girl's interest, but it's like. Damn, your bitch can't even have a friend.
No.
I said she can have the friend. I'm saying you have to be alert of the nigga.
Right.
It's not.
Right.
I'm not telling you can't have guy friends. Women can have guy friends. I'm not going to be the guy to stand on that hill. But it's like, yo, you got to be alert of like, oh, that nigga, like he's a certain type.
Right. He's
like,
always lurking in the shadows.
Yeah, like I see that nigga. And the thing is, the nigga that you always lurk in your relationship be the nigga that be with your girl after y'all break up. Like it always be that nigga.
It does.
Which happens later in the season.
It does happen later in the season. So William was actually in a very hilarious portion. But basically, all right. So before I get to that, we didn't really touch on the friends with benefits type scenario between like William and what's up?
Yeah, touch on it. Let's
did we already touch on it? All right, my bad.
No, I said touch on it. I was like,
oh, okay. My bad, guys. So we didn't really touch on the friends with benefits segment. We did, but really didn't. So like William and Lynn decided that they were going to become friends with benefits. We didn't really see how that works out in this season. We do see how it ends in, I think, season 3. So have you guys ever been in a scenario with like a friends with benefits scenario, and like, does that work? Can that work out?
No. I don't like that. I like to keep
I'm just gonna say no.
The people that I'm fucking,
it just
I like
could
to keep
be
that stuff. Yeah.
Dicey for me. So I'm just.
We don't need to. I just think friends with benefits is very ghetto. Like, what do we? I got enough friends. Like, why do we need to be friends with benefits? Like, that's ghetto. Like, that's very ghetto. And when men try to do that, when men who I've like identified as like platonic friends try to do that sneaky stuff, you're done. Curtain, clipped. Like,
and this is why you got to stay away from William.
He be with the shits.
Because he'd be with it. I always thought that the show should have had William and Lynn together. I thought those two worked out, but
Kev, actually, I have a question for you.
What's up, man?
Do you think guys and women can be platonic friends? Because they were talking about this on Twitter.
Yes.
And they were saying, and they were saying that someone said some stupid shit, and niggas did, like, the girl did not know what platonic meant, but the girl was like, "You can fuck somebody." and be a
Wait, I'm
platonic friend. Did y'all see this tweet?
screaming. That was funny.
That was like a
funny.
funny tweet for the past week, but we're not gonna talk
So-
about that. But do you think a guy and girl long term, and I'm talking about, actually, let me create a scenario for you, because if you've been friends with a woman since like high school, like, yeah, that's fine. But let's say you met a woman, there's no business involved, you met her at 26, you think you could be friends with her. She's no ties to your crew either. Like your own individual relationship.
So did I meet her at work? Are we like coworkers or
You
what?
could say you met her at work.
I think yeah, in that scenario, like so to answer your overall question, can men and women be in a platonic relationship? The answer is yes, but I think there's a lot of certain like caveats that go along with it, and I think it's all based on the scenario. Like one, sometimes if the guy tries and the girl isn't about it, you can just be friends afterwards. If you're like in a coworker type situation, you already spend like a lot of hours together anyway, so yes, you can be friends. So I think yes, but there's going to be like certain scenarios where that can work, though. You know what I mean?
What you think, Hannah?
Yes, I have plenty of men that I'm friends with. No, them wanting to be something else, that's their business. But I said we friends, so we friends.
See.
Yeah.
See.
Can you hit the evil word one?
Evil world we live in. Evil world we live in.
I feel like a lot of men. I feel like they'll also like real shit. And y'all are men. I can attest to this. Like I feel like a lot of men, they'll try their hand at least once, and once they realize that it ain't going like that, they'll be like, all right, whatever. Like I'll stand down. Like I feel like
the few female friends that I have,
I really don't have one male friend. Like now that I'm actually thinking about it, I don't think I have one male friend that just like straight up has never tried anything with me. But once I shut it down, it was like, all right, cool, we friends.
Right. That's what I mean. Like that's a scenario where it's like
got curved.
Right. He got curved. He knew like that opportunity was closed off. So like he was like, screw it, I'm gonna change gears, but we can still be your friends. You know?
Yeah, like I feel like for me personally, like my female friends that are platonic, like first off, all of my friends that are platonic have messed with one of my other friends. So from there, I'm never doubling back on my homies. So it's like it's cool for us to be friends. But I've never had a situation in my life. Other niggas can talk up to this, or other men, sorry, let me not use that word, can talk to this. I've never had a woman friend where it's like none of my friends have talked to them, and I've never tried, and we're just friends. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I agree.
I've never had that situation for me personally. So, Hannah, I guess she's a mystery.
What do you mean I'm a mystery?
I don't even know the word, the English word. It's like you're unique.
How am I unique?
Because like you have platonic male friends.
But that's because I've made it clear. Like I feel like another.
No. Women have made it clear to us, and that's our point. It's like
right.
I'm no longer even speak to those women that made it clear with me. I'm like, all right, it's a dub. Like
right.
Reason. And most of my friends are on that same vibe where it's like, oh, she said it's a dub. I tried. Cool. I'm cool with it. Like I've never met.
So you just completely just be like, bye, bitch. Later. Like I just don't think.
No, just like I came here for one reason. Like that's just my friends. Like my friends are just like of that mindset. It's just like.
But I also feel like as a woman though, like also Russia, whether like people admit it or not, as a woman, you really control. You have more power or control over the trajectory of the relationship than you really ever than a lot of women ever actually realize. Like,
yeah,
you really can control what does, like, you really kind of set the pace, especially like in the beginning, like what you don't go for, like it won't happen, you know. Like so that's why I'm always like when I meet people, especially like men, like I feel like I try to be like very like intentional about like what I'm doing and the things I'm saying and like where we meet up, where we hang out, because I want you to really like get it through your head. Like this is what it's gonna be. Now, like if I'm interested in you, like in something more than platonic, okay, you know, we get sliced it up a little bit. But like if I made it up in my head that we're gonna be friends, we're gonna be friends.
I think that was actually the theme of the entire series. Was us highlighting that, like what you said, like women actually says like the terms and tone of the relationship, you know, throughout. So yeah, that's a really good point you brought up there. All right, let's go on to my favorite segment, the girlfriend of the season. Who was the girlfriend of the season for you guys?
Maya.
Interesting. Why Maya for you?
It's always gonna be Maya. Like, what you mean?
I feel like this was the season where
Interesting.
Maya was down bad, and she was
Yeah, Maya was doing bad
It
this
can't be
season.
Maya for me. It can't be Maya for me. Tony was
Why
down
not?
bad. It has
Like,
to. Actually, they were all down bad in this season. Like everyone had a bad moment in this season. So
No.
I'm just gonna go with Lynn because her bad moment was with her relationship. It wasn't with like Tony was down bad because her relationship with Joan. Joan was
Right.
doing a lot of stupid shit. Maya had her kid
Typical.
sitting under the desk. This season, girlfriend of the season was Lynn.
Side note: have your parents ever took you to work because,
Yes.
like, okay, yeah, same here, same here. All right. So, like, my girlfriend this season is actually William. I don't know if you guys remember Joan's Halloween party episode, but basically, William was a pimp for Halloween.
I thought we're not allowed to say William because I'm gonna say William every season.
Because
We're all gonna me and you are always gonna say William.
I won't say William anymore after this season because
Okay.
William killed it during the Halloween episode. He was a pimp for Halloween. He got way too in character. I don't know if you guys remember this. So basically, like, he was calling the girlfriends bitches. When he showed up, he was the only guy at an all-girls party, and he was straight. So, like, he's just dancing with all the women there while he's in a committed relationship with Yvonne. So I just thought, like, this guy just killed it this season.
William kills every season.
No, and also
My goal in this series, I just want the listeners to know, is to get Reggie Hayes on this podcast. Like, that's
seriously,
literally
we need to
my
get him
goal,
on.
just so he can talk about how he was the man.
Dude,
Shout out to Reggie Hayes.
he also had a moment in the season where he was really depressed, and he was hearing about Maya's, like, cheating story, and he just goes off on a tangent about, like, you black women, you finally get a good man, and you turn around and you cheat on him. And he came at Tony, he came at Joe, he came at Lynn, and he came at Maya. He pretty much just spilled out the entire business on the show. So I thought William kind of killed it this season. All right. Was there any, like, yikes moments for you guys during the season?
Damn. Ooh.
I have one. All right. So when Maya comes back from Jamaica,
I have mine too.
Maya gets a bikini wax in Jamaica, and so she comes back. She comes back, and, like, you know, like, obviously, like, Darnell missed her or whatever. They're about to do it, and Darnell notices that, like, she's like, you know, has the wax or whatever. He goes, whoa, what happened? Like, he clearly likes it, like, you know, hairy. And I'm just like, yikes, what type of monster are you? That was my yikes moment of the season.
Yo, so my yikes moment is we didn't even talk about this, but Lynn's sister is my yikes moment.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
We did not talk about this the whole fucking episode, but Lynn's sister was like a white black girl where she was, like, trying to really, like, she was blacker than Lynn, even though Lynn was her
She was
adopted sister.
way blacker than Lynn.
And she used the N-word. And I wanted to actually my yikes moment was when she used the N-word. And my question to you guys is, if your white friend was rapping, you know, some lyrics and the N-word popped out, how y'all gonna feel? Like, are you gonna press them off the lyrics?
Like, that's a no, but, like, no, that's not off limits. Like, you don't need to say that, period. Like,
Okay,
and
cool.
because
I'm letting you know, I know certain niggas who are
I
not
don't got white
present.
friends, so
I don't have white friends either. I consider Nick my friend. Nick is my only white friend, and that's my ex-coworker.
I don't have no white friends.
And he knows never to use the N-word around me because I'll slap the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Didn't Drake have a lyric about that?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Then my white friend just say you niggas crazy, hope that no one heard that.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and I think exactly how Drake said it. That's how I would.
He's probably dealt with this before. That's why he got quiet.
Yeah, like in high school on the cross country team, one of the kids used the N word. But like I was like ahead of them, so I overheard it. But it's just like, what do you do in that scenario? Do you like make a scene, or do you just like ignore it? So I just chose to ignore it. Um,
I would choose
yeah,
something too, so I feel you.
I don't know. I mean, like white people say it like when you're not around, like they're listening to the same music you are. So I don't know. It's definitely a tricky scenario. I mean, obviously she should have known her surroundings. She should have known she's not black. Lynn's sister was kind of wrong there in that moment.
Facts. Hannah, what's your yaks moment?
I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to agree with Kev here because remember I was texting you about this when I was like watching. I was like, is this something like niggas really care about? Because I was so thrown off by the fact that like he was doing all that. Like, what is the problem, sir? Like, why are you so caught up on Miss Mama's coochie? Like, it's so coochie. Like, you gonna get something? What's the deal? I think that was my yikes moment for sure. Because I was just like, is it that deep? Like, I really like. Do men really care that much? Like, y'all are men. Like, can someone answer? Like, do y'all care that much?
It depends. I mean, I'll say what I said to you. I was like, I don't care, but when it's something that's out of the ordinary, I'd be like, oh, what's going on?
What you mean? You can't like switch up your grooming routine?
Right.
There's
Right.
certain moments where it's just like, I mean, I was gonna say something wild and niggas.
Do it.
I was about to even say it's like if one of your male friends didn't get a haircut for mad long, you'd be like, what's this nigga's issue? And that's how I would look at it for a woman. It's like, yo, is something going on with you? Like, I know how you normally keep yourself. So it's like, oh, like, what's up with you? Like, and he was dying because we just dealt with this. But it's fact. Like, it's something going on with you because you're not grooming yourself. That's just how I feel.
Yeah, but we learned that that's
Like,
how Darnell likes it.
if I met it a certain way, don't keep it that way.
Don't introduce a vibe you can't maintain, basically.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this show kind of introduces like fetishes really weird though.
Wait, what's Hannah gonna say? She's about to say something crazy.
No, man, I'm just be quiet. I don't have nothing to
No, say it. Say it. Dawes said something crazy, so you gotta say something now.
To be fair, I would describe myself as a regular waxer for sure. But I will say, if I, meet me a little partner and we knocking the boots, whatever, and I get a little comfortable, like, I try to go like every like 4 to 6 weeks, but like, we cool, like.
Might go to 6 months, like what? Like what's going on?
Just 6 to 8 weeks, like then what? Like what you know what I'm saying? Like, is there no room for like humanism?
There's no room.
Like one 4 weeks, you be like, yo, you good? Like, what's going on? Like, you can handle that.
Like, do you need me to pay for this wax? Like, what's going on with you? Like, is that?
I mean, I don't know. I just could not believe how he was reacting. Like, I'm just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, his reaction was out of pocket because even if you do like it, like natural, cool, but like switch it up a little bit every once in a while. Like she did, like you should be happy for that. So I don't know.
I've never actually personally, I don't think I've ever personally dealt with someone that was like they like it natural, but I know there are men out here that do they have a little fuzz. And I'm just like, interesting. I've never dealt with that person though. Will anybody ever voice that to me?
Yeah, I don't fall in that category, so I don't know.
I do that shit clean.
But I'm trying to be progressive though.
Yeah, because the girlies don't be doing. They don't be getting the cooter cats wax, like underarms, nothing. They really ride.
What you say?
Cooter cats.
No. What you say before that? You said
the girlies really don't be. They be going all natural. Like the girlies really just did. They be
the girlies I be dealing with.
Letting it grow, nothing be winging.
No lens.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't joined that wave yet.
Actually, Kev, before we close out.
Yep.
Oh my God, my laptop's on 7%, so we gotta make this quick. But I saw a tweet where it said, I'm Joan and Lynn, because they were like, all girls can't be Tony. And I was like, how could you be Joan and Lynn at the same time?
I feel like a lot of girls are Tony.
I feel like a lot of girls think they're Tony, but they not.
That too. Okay, that
they
too.
Don't really be Tony.
Yo, that's very girl.
Like they be thinking like, and this is the thing where it's like women be holding themselves to weight classes they're really not in. Like you're not Tony. You're Maya. Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting that line. That's true.
you're fine,
Yeah.
but you're dating Darnell. Like, you're not Tony.
Y'all some haters.
And I mean, is this a closing? Because I can get into a little speech unless you got final words.
I got another question if you guys are up for it,
Oh,
but I know
yeah,
your
yeah.
laptop's dying. All right, so when William first gets engaged with Yvonne, he's noticing a lot of women are just like hitting on him now. So he pretty much tells Joan, Joan, do you think I'm sexy or engaged sexy? So I have a question for you two. Have you ever noticed that whenever you're in a committed relationship, that the person of the opposite sex kind of like reaches out to you more?
This is actually, I mean, I'm gonna answer this question twice. So first, for William, we talked about this already. So William specifically didn't know he had the juice.
True.
So like,
True.
Yvonne, when he got her, like he started getting confidence. Women smell confidence. And that's why women like niggas with men, even though they don't like, you know what I'm saying? Like, women are not chasing niggas who have like are in relationships, but the thing is what they like confident dudes. So like William didn't have his confidence before he had that relationship. Once he got that relationship, his trajectory went off, which you saw on the show. I guess that's really all I have to say. I guess for me personally, I wouldn't say I get more girls when I have a girlfriend, but yeah.
That's a wild thing to say.
Women always say feel like I have something. Like there be times I just be dumb dolo, and women just always think, I don't know if it's a persona thing. So I've never dealt with that, but can't be sure.
Yeah, I definitely I feel like when I'm in a relationship or at least like talking to somebody, I definitely feel like more people do be like, hey, what's up? And I'd be like, where were you like months ago? So I don't know. I feel like people also naturally want what they can't have. So
Yeah, I think you're true. I think you're right there.
That's a fact.
Yeah, so that's all I really had for season 2.
That's it for season 2 of Oh Hell No. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Shout outs to Hannah and Name's Not Keith. Fucking with us. We're gonna be back next week with another episode. Once again, I'm gonna say it. Please, please, please subscribe. We need those subscribers up. That's why we're doing this.
It's an evil world we live in.
We out.
man.